Thanks, Beatrice. You might have noticed Beatrice gets me muddled up with Brenda. It's not the first time. We both wear flowing robes, lots of colours, rings, and we were both quite large ladies. That's where the similarities stop. I don't sing like Brenda, so if I had £1 for every time I've been asked, I'd be a wealthy woman. But now I have to say I'm deaf as a post and breathing is a bit of a challenge, so please forgive my halting delivery. And questions might need to be channeled through people with functioning ears. If you're here today, I'm guessing you know something about the Cornish singer, poet and ambassador Brenda Wootton. Maybe you listened to her weekly request programme, Sunday Best, on Radio Cornwall, or perhaps you saw her live. She did appear on TV, but not often. So today we've got a quick introduction to her music and her performance, which is still available to us on film. From her first visit to Piper's Folk Club in Batalloch's Count House in the mid-60s, Brenda's singing career lasted some 25 years. She turned professional in the early 1970s, an era long before the internet and social media. Obviously, films were made more so as her fame grew worldwide, with TV being the prime media. But TV companies, especially those in the UK, were notoriously bad at archiving the early productions, and the quality of film stock used was often poor. I remember my dad videoing everything he could, often using elderly pre-used videotape, which then got copied onto other pre-used videos. Inevitably, much was lost. But I did end up inheriting one 3-hour video with Brenda scribbled on the label. Some of it was totally unwatchable, but I kept what I could and kept an eye open for more. Since then, new footage has come to light, the best from French TV recordings, who, it seemed, used much better film stock than the UK companies and looked after it better. A couple of other pieces appeared on YouTube or were sent to me over the years. A couple were found held at the Southwest Film and TV Archive in Plymouth, now called The Box. I'm still chasing up more pieces. If I find them, we'll add them to the pool. But what you'll see today is about half what we have in total. Do bear in mind that these films are all around 40 years old or more, and some fall far short of the quality we expect today. But sadly, as Brenda is no longer around, we must be satisfied with what we have. The trigger for these film events was strong encouragement from a young man who's been working his socks off promoting Cornwall's music, Chris Trevenna, in every genre for some time now. He's had many hours of audio recordings from me and from others, which he's painstakingly worked to restore and made available on his Sounds Like Cornwall YouTube archive. I strongly recommend you look it up. How many have you got there now?
Just over 1,000.
Just over 1,000 recordings. A labour of love. He was eager to have a go at improving the available film footage of Brenda, and I'm so pleased with what he's managed to achieve. There was one other person mentioned on the poster for this afternoon, and that's my husband, Chris. He doesn't actually take part in the performance, as it were, but I couldn't do it without him. So today's offerings are very much a mixed bag of Brenda on film, all produced between 1981 and 1991. Footage appears from TV companies in Bristol, Plymouth, France and Ireland, with some home footage from the Low End of Perrin Festival at Perrin Porth, and with a range of choirs, guitarists and orchestras accompanying, as well as Brenda singing a cappella. In this first section, we have a 30-minute special from BBC Southwest, recorded in Plymouth in 1981, Cornwall, the Land I Love. It was the first of 2 such programmes. The format used a short explanatory film with Brenda interviewing local residents about the topics covered before singing each song. The song Allen Apple is about the practice of giving loved ones a large and special apple to put under their pillow at Allantide on October the 31st each year, in order to dream of a sweetheart. And for this, Brenda interviews her cousin Mary Harvey in Newlyn. For a song about the fishing industry in Newlyn, she talks to fisherman Joe Brownfield. Still on fishing, Brenda chats to John Trelease from the Cornish Friends of the Maritime Trust on board the lugger Barnabas, which was then being restored, and sings Richard Gendall's song, The Lugger, with the children of Nancledra CP School. She did a lot of project work with Cornish schools around that time. For another song about a tin mining tragedy, she speaks to Edward Waters at Giver. And the mischievous Cyril Orchard tells her all about the time he saw the mermaid of Zennor drinking in the tinner's arms. Brenda's own song, Thunder and Lightning, I hope might mean something to some of you. That's a slice of fresh bread coated in treacle, or golden syrup, and topped with lashings of clotted cream. Richard Gendall plays the guitar, and Brenda is joined by the ladies of a local WI, unidentified, I'm afraid. The closing number, Waiting for the Tide, completes an otherwise full programme of songs by Richard Gendall. Thanks, Chris.
And in the next half an hour, I'd like to show you some of the things that make up the land I love. I never thought before how much my country belonged to me, till I had gone many miles from my home by the sea. Hedges aflame with birds, little white farm at the foot of the tarn. You belong to me, Cornwall, the land I love. Kindred is strong, this is where I belong, in the land I love. That's my song. That sums up exactly how I feel. It was written for me. Do you know, it wasn't until I went away singing 8 years ago that I came to realise how much I love Cornwall. I've seen beautiful places all over, in Germany, in France, Australia, but it's that special sort of magic combination, the people, the ruggedness of the land, the independence. We've got our old traditions, health and flora, beautiful dancing every May, and there's the Padstow Obios. But you know, there's one from Newlyn where I grew up. It's about the giving of an Allen apple, a sort of love symbol. But I don't think it goes on much. Now, I wonder how much the people of Newlyn remember it today. If this was October and I was going to give you one of these, what would you do with it?
Eating.
Eating?
Yeah.
Trust you, like all the boys, it would be a what would it be?
Allantide apple.
Allantide apple.
Yeah.
You're supposed to put it under your pillow and go to bed with it and then wake up dreaming of a new sweetheart.
Well, I never used to dream of sweetheart. I used eating.
If I was to tell you this was an Allen apple,
Yeah.
what would you do with it?
Eat it.
I think I'd cook it.
Well, you would heat it and you would cook it.
Yes.
Put it
Did
in
you
the oven or bake it like.
Did you ever put them under your pillow?
Never.
You were supposed to, my bird, then you dream of a new sweetheart.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoever will he be, I wonder.
Well, wandering around Newlyn this morning, I'm discovering that many people remember the Allen apple, although they no longer give them. The Allen apple would have been given on October the 31st, especially in this little region of Street Knowing here, Foundry Lane. And the young people would be given an apple to go to bed and sleep with it under their pillow, and then the next morning they would have dreamed of a new sweetheart. I used to think it was to make me handsome for a sweetheart. But it's very much associated, obviously, with Halloween and all the things that we celebrate. In France, they call it Toussaint. Germany is Walpurgisnacht. Well, down here, it's Allantide. And as I say, I've met one or two. There's Mrs. Mary Harvey, and there's Harry Matthews, who well remember their Allen apple.
I remember Allen apples when we were children, yeah.
Yes. What we used to do with them?
Well, as I said, we used to choose an apple as a child.
Yes, you'd be bought by the gallon, didn't it?
Lovely large rosy apple that we chose. And as children, we just were allowed to take them to bed and put them under our pillow to dream of our future lover or husband.
Did you do that,
Ours
Harry?
wasn't so romantic. I think we used to put ours under the bed and wait until the next morning
To eat them?
to eat them then.
No. Did they work, do we think?
Oh, well, I've no regrets.
No, I think they did a very good job. Yes, I do.
Whether or not you remember the Allen apple, seems we're all very sentimental about the old things, but we don't carry it out. Do you know, I didn't give them to my daughter, but I intend that my grandchildren are going to have them. Here are, Davy, my bird. Here's your Allen apple. While the last day is calm in October, and the shadows are long on the sea, I'm glad when it's time to go over the shoulder of Timburn Hill, the shoulder of Timburn Hill. Won't you take a sweet ripe Allen apple close under your pillow to keep, that you may be sure that your true love will come to you there while you sleep, will come to you there while you sleep. Sweet Allen apple, oh, sweet Allen apple, I slept with my sweet Allen apple, so scented and so rosy red, and I dreamed that my true love was lying so warm by my side in my bed, so warm by my side in my bed. Won't you take a sweet ripe Allen apple close under your pillow to keep, that you may be sure that your true love will come to you there while you sleep, will come to you there while you sleep. Sweet Allen apple, sweet Allen apple, sweet Allen apple. We all like to believe in magic, but it'll take more than wishing to save our fishing industry. If ever you are at the port of Newlyn, Falmouth or Mevagiziloo, St. Ives or Padstow or Porthleven, there's fishermen with nothing left to do. The mackerel, they teemed around our waters, the harvest, it was regular and true. Sufficient was to feed our sons and daughters, our little ships could work the season through. You shoot your nets on either hand and bait your lines with caviar. You just as well remain on land, boys, there's no more fish out where you are. But giants came from Russia and from Scotland, Bulgaria and France and everywhere. They scooped the very bread from out our hands, boys. There's nothing that these pirates have to fear. The seas that tumbled round our homeland for thousands now of years have served us well. Why should we now be so beset by brigands? that song was written about 6 or 7 years ago, but I couldn't sing it then because I thought it was too strong, too political. That was until a couple of Christmases ago when I was at a party with a fisherman friend of mine, and he had to go early. And I said, why? And he said, well, look, my boat's up 5. I said, what's it doing up there? He said, well, I got to go up there. He said, there's no fish down around here. Now that has become a common story down here. And it looks like a whole change in the way of life. Cornish fishermen, like Joe Brownfield. Joe, you've been in fishing all your life. You're a fishing stock.
Yeah.
What do you think of the state of fishing today?
Well, I think it's very sad, generally, the way things have changed in my lifetime anyway. The old methods are gone. The way we come up was drifting, pilchers, mainly pilchers. I just remember the last of the herring seasons. I've done a little bit of it, but not a lot. Mainly pilchers in my time.
Now there's mackerel left.
Very few. That was drifting as well. Of course, sailors have seen that off. And midwater trawlers. The pilchers are imported in cans, as you know. That seen our canoes off, and the boat soon went, you know. Mm-hmm.
Joe, how do you feel about these big ships that have come in? Are the Cornish fishermen very angry about it?
I don't know. Altogether, if I had one, it would be a good thing to do, but I haven't, so I don't like it, you know. Everybody speaks to suit themselves, don't they?
Yeah. So would you say there is a future for the Cornish fishing industry?
Not the way we knew it, no.
No.
No, it'll be big units, that's my opinion. There'll be big units and the less men, less everything.
So the small man in a small boat is going to disappear.
Oh, yes, well, they're, yeah. They practically are, anyway.
Tis proper job to weave the mackerel in boys, although your hands are bleeding sore. But nowadays you get it in on tin boats, so why go fishing anymore? Come on, they're only guts in fishes. What happened to the nerve we had before? Our Cornish hearts don't mainly beat on wishes, but fight and ask for what you know is yours. You shoot your nets on either hand and bait your lines with caviar. You just as well remain on land, boys. There's no more fish at repertoire. You shoot your nets on either hand. Well, the fishing industry is suffering now, but it has always been an important part of our heritage. And of course, there's people of the Newlyn School like Santa Forbes who've left us these wonderful paintings of scenes of fishing. And you know, I can remember the mackerel being that plentiful off Newlyn that you could scoop them out with your hands. Of course, that's all changing. We've only got the memories of that. There are at least a body of people who are endeavouring to keep those memories alive. And they're the Cornish Friends of the Maritime Trust at their base in Thomas's Yard in Falmouth. They're restoring some old Cornish fishing vessels, including Barnabas, a Cornish lugger. Now, I don't know much about it, but somebody who does is the secretary, John Trelease.
Well, you're standing on Barnabas. She's our pride and joy. She's a St. Ives mackerel lugger,
Yes?
and she's 100 years old this year.
Fine-looking old lady. I hope I last that long.
Well,
Yes.
dear, she's a very old boat, but she's beautiful.
Yes. Now, tell me, there's a difference between the St. Ives lugger and the other coast,
Yes, Mount's Bay luggers were, because they were based in Newlyn, and Newlyn is a far more sheltered harbour than St. Ives is naturally. The St. Ives boats are rounder in the bilge. They used to have the sit on the beach.
Tell me, how come that you are involved with Barnabas, this Cornish Friends of the Maritime Trust?
Well, the Maritime Trust is a national organisation. It was first formed in 1969, and its function is to do virtually for historic vessels what the National Trust does for historic buildings.
I see. So we'll have them for people not just to look at, to work on.
No, not only to work on and to sail. And I'm sorry, we haven't got this afloat, but at the moment we're laid up for the winter and we're preparing it for the summer.
Now, When they went to sea, John, how long would they be gone for?
Well, it depends where they're fishing, of course, but they were sometimes at sea for weeks, 3 weeks or so,
Really?
you see, because
Like this.
when the mackerel finished around the Cornish coast, they would probably go after them, and then they'd go north later on for the herring.
I see. Now, if you want to learn more about a lugger, you listen to this song. The children of Nancledra County Primary School are singing all about the Cornish lugger.
Build me a logger-o,
On the ocean,
build me a logger-o,
fit to sail the ocean.
aha, aha. How long will she be?
All upon the ocean,
How long will she be?
50 feet all over.
Aha, aha. What are her timbers, oh?
All upon the ocean,
What are her timbers, oh?
elm, oak and pitch pine.
Aha, aha. Who'll take the tiller, oh?
All upon the ocean,
Who'll take the tiller, oh?
Luke will take the tiller.
Ha, aha. Who'll haul the net, oh?
All upon the ocean,
Who'll haul the net, oh?
all upon the net so.
Aha, aha. What have you caught, oh?
All upon the ocean,
What have you caught, oh?
we caught fish a plenty.
Cornwall is a land of legend, of piskies and fairies and giants. Now, this rock, this got here because of a giant, well, two actually, giant Cormoran and his wife Cormelian. Cormoran wanted to build a castle here in this land, which was then covered with forests, to build it high above the trees so as he could see the surrounding countryside. Cormoran was a cruel man. He made his poor wife, Cormelian, do all the work and carry all the white granite from the fields far away. Had to be white granite because he wanted a white castle. One afternoon, while Cormoran was asleep, his wife decided she'd had enough, and she fetched back a piece of green granite, which was closer to. And Cormoran woke up, and he was that angry, he chased his wife off, and she dropped the piece of green granite out of her pinny. And to this day, this rock have laid here on the side of the causeway to St. Michael's Mount, because nobody been strong enough to shift it. It's easy to believe, isn't it? Of course, in all legends, you know, there's always a little germ of truth, as with the one of the mermaid of Zennor, our most famous mermaid. Matthew Trewhella, the young man that she lured under the sea, he really existed, you know. And if you visit Zennor, you'll understand the magic of this story. Standing inside of these solid granite walls and looking at the church from outside and from the cliffs above to the cliffs below, one can well believe in a mermaid, half woman, half fish. She's here, you know, on the end of this bench, the mermaid of Zennor, with her mirror in one hand and her comb made of fish's bones on the other. And over the hill, in the little church of Tewednack, there's another bench end. That's the bench end of the family of Matthew Trewhella, whose father was the church warden there. And there have been people who have met this mermaid.
Yes, Brenda, I seen her in year 1949 with old Fred Allen up against the bar counter. And of course, I had Job get her out, and he had draw off half pint cider and get her away and coat. And he young past me, mine. And then we had to brush up the scales down, fell on for the size of old half crown down to the size of a shilling. Really. And she was handsome.
And that's a true story, because Cyril Orchard, he don't tell no lies. My grandma used to say that we Cornish are half superstitious and half religious. We'd keep one foot in with the Lord, see, and another one in with the devil. I suppose really that's why stories like the Mermaid of Zennor have lasted so long. I mean, you can't really dismiss them, you know. If you're sitting around the fire of a winter's evening and everybody's telling yarns. I mean, we Celts, you know, we're proper storytellers. Always ready to go, always having a bit of a yarn. The magic land of West Penwith lies to the far southwest of Cornwall. And on the north coast there lies the little village of Zennor. And in the granite church there sang a young man. His name was Matthew Trewheeler. He came from Tewedneck. And one Sunday there came to the back of the church a lady, and she was dressed in black from top to toe. And she was a mermaid, and she came to him, and she whispered in his ear, and she said, "Come away with me, Matthew Trewheeler, and live beneath the sea, and you will never, ever die." And 4 Sundays in a row, the mermaid came to Matthew Trewheeler. She whispered, "Come away, Matthew." And after the 4th Sunday, Matthew Trewheeler was gone under the sea with the mermaid. So, young men, beware of the mermaid of Zenith.
I heard thee sing in the church above the ocean. I heard thee sing, my pretty boy, far from my salty palaces. I have come to thee, my pretty boy. I to thee will give my maiden virtue. I to thee will give my maiden charm. Sleep within my ocean bed. Sleep with me, my pretty boy, and live with me. Far away from earthly cares above. Far away from earthly cares above. Green are my eyes as the waters of the ocean. Red my hair, my pretty boy. White my breasts upon the wave. All I will give to thee, my pretty boy. Soft my arms that I shall put about thee. Soft my lips that I to thee shall yield. Deep within our ocean bed, deep within my pretty boy, just you and I. Far away from earthly cares above. Far away from earthly cares above. Far away, far away,
You know, when I'm away, this is the sort of image that I often have in my head. We're all inclined to regard this coastline and these chimneys as being something that's rather romantic and beautiful. But reality is far from that. These chimneys are here because a lot of men sweated blood. Now, I don't know too much about it, but I have with me Edward Waters, who spent 51 years working in the mines and today is the guardian of the museum here at Geaver. Edward, tell me, what was it really like?
Here on the ground, some of them used to go down with their fathers, 8 years of age, and their job was to take in the drills, because it all ran drilling, all ran labour in those days, take in the drills, and then when the miners used to, or their fathers used to blast out the tin or copper, they used to wheel it back in wheelbarrows.
And they used girls as well, didn't they?
Yes.
Women very much.
Yes, that's quite true. Up to 1840, there was 5,000 women working in the Cornish mine.
Yes.
All made.
And what was their work?
Their work was on the surface, not on the ground. They had to separate the copper from the tin.
And which way did they do that? What did they use?
They had a long, hilted Cornish shovel.
Really?
Yes, and they used to fill it into wheelbarrows, and they had to wheel the bar and put it in piles.
So life was no bed of roses in those days, was it?
Oh, it was real tough, real tough, hard life.
We'll mount a tombstone at his head, and it shall read, young Tom is dead, that once a miner's trade did ply, but now below does peaceful lie. But he'd scarce grown to be a man than the dread crisis struck him down, and his poor life was gone to gain for some shareholder in town. And do not look with misted eye upon that ruin against the sky. There's no romance in sweating blood and dying young for others' good.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It's certainly romantic. But at what a price? Well, time's running out. And I still haven't mentioned something that's very, very close to the Cornish. And that's their stomach. We got some food down here. We got mackerel, we got cream, we got saffron cake, heavy cake, pasties. But watch out, because things are happening to our food. This next song came from really just remarks made by the older members of my family, and I got Richard Gendel to string it all together musically, because there's no doubt at all, it didn't like it used to be.
The controversy that do rage about our Cornish diet on making pasties, cake and cream is enough to cause a riot. For my dear soul is plain to see, heaven like it used to be. Now the flavour of a pasty's nothing if the turnip you'd miss, like having bread with bread, you know, or a squeeze without a kiss. For my dear soul is plain to see, telling like it used to be.
Well, here we are, and some pasty, made by Mrs. Stone over to Cameron. What do you think of that?
And big enough.
Well, me ain't big enough. We'll take a man to work. What do you think of the crimping? Proper job, isn't it? They say a good pasty is, the test of him is to drop him down a mine and he's still in one piece.
They tell me every cake is nice, made with self-raising flour. Plain flour it wasn't plain, it's what's it called, heavy flour. For my dear soul is plain to see, telling like it used to be.
Of course, heavy cake mustn't have no raisin agent, no eggs or nothing in them. Stanley here been telling me a story about this woman over at Newland. She was just coming out of the bakehouse with her freshly baked heavy cake, and she dropped them. The plate smashed to pieces, but the cake stayed in one piece. There's only one way to eat cream, that's on a bit of bread with treacle. They'd call it thunder and lightning. course, some eat them, dear. They'd have put their treacle on first. I'd have put my cream on first.
They took the crust from off our cream. The prospect it is frightening. But cream or treacle first, who cares? God save our thunder and lightning. For my dear soul is plain to see. Till I used to be.
Come late, come soon, from east or west, and I will wait for you still. Come high, come low, let run, let flow, and I will look for you, will you come to me, and tenderly I'll meet you here beside the sea. No more could I withhold the tide than could my love for you stay. Let rise, let fall the water's wall. So am I finding you, will you come to me, and tenderly I'll meet you here beside the sea.
In this next section, we have 4 film clips. The first features Brenda singing a song called Paris, written by a friend of hers, a marvellous songwriter called Ewan Carruthers. She's accompanied by Camborne Town Band on a French TV programme called Champs-Élysées in 1984. It does demonstrate Brenda's slightly ambivalent love-hate relationship with the city. It was on this trip that her van was broken into and instruments and money stolen, which devastated her at the time. Pasty making was made by an Irish TV company, TVAM, I think, although the credits and the date are lost. I'd guess maybe early 1980s. It's a magazine-style programme from a series featuring an Irish TV presenter whose name is also now unknown, certainly to me. He's investigating Cornwall, and via a quick drop into the Dolphin Inn by the harbour in Penzance, he ends up in Brenda's kitchen in Liskinnick Street near the station, to witness her making him a Cornish pasty, with explanations and a song to suit, written by Brenda for one of her pantomimes years earlier. The next song, Pasties and Cream, was written by the long-term editor of the Cornishman newspaper for over 50 years, Herbert Thomas, and was an early favourite of Brenda's. Taught her when she was young, she says, by her mum Lena. It's a love song to everything Cornish, and she was recorded singing this with guitarist Pete Berryman at the Lowender Perrin Festival at Perrin Porth in 1991. So one of the last pieces of film footage of Brenda before she died in 1994, in fact. The next clip in this section is Leatherass, which was the nickname of Brenda's grandfather, William Henry Ellery, who died when she was 4 years old. A proper Newlyn character whose memory lives on forever in this poem she wrote about him many years later. He was called Leatherass because he was an ostler for the Queen's Hotel in Penzance, so he was in charge of the stable of horses, and he loved his horses, and he always wore leather patches on his backside, so he got the name Leatherass. That was also filmed at Low End of Perron 3 years earlier in 1988. The next is a short 15-minute film called Down the Club, recorded in 1981 at and on behalf of Bedminster Down Boys Club by HTV Bristol, accompanied by presenter Louis Robinson and Brenda's guitarist Chris Newman. The Boys Club had discovered Piper's Folk Club on their annual holiday to Cornwall in the late 1960s and became mega fans of Brenda and John the Fish, returning every night for the week of their stay and every summer after for years. And the pair did several return gigs for them in their club up in Bristol. This show begins, as did her weekly record request programme Sunday Best on Radio Cornwall, with the welcoming "Come On In," and includes the beautiful and lyrical "What's in the Name" by Ewan Carruthers again. Daysel Vitin, or Sunday Morning, written in Cornish by Richard Gendel. The homesick Cornish Wanderers, Take Me, Drive Me, also by Richard, but in English. Johnny Groat, which seems more suited to the far northern end of Britain. A cheery song with lyrics by Charles Causley, set to music by Steve Heap. And the lovely Tishomingo Blues for a bit of variety. And finally, another impromptu recording from Low End of Perron in 1991, a joyful sing-along session led by the marvellous Bude singer John Bolitho. So I do hope you enjoy the Cornish nostalgia hit, and please feel free to come up and have a look at the merchandise or ask any questions afterwards.
Taste of the wine and the coffee, the cigarette smoking beer, the grace and the mystery, the pride and the history, etched on the face of a city so fair. La la la, la la la, la la la. La la la, your cafes and your boulevards, your names that roll from the tongue, Boulevard Saint-Germain, Versailles and Montmartre, Paris, you know that you've stolen my heart. La la la, la la la, la la la, through the back streets that vie with your beauty. You'll hide from my eyes if you can, like the telltale marks of childbirth. A woman will hide from the eyes of a man. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Oh, Paris, I love you, I hate you. I cry, but you do not grieve. For one of your lovers, you've so many others. You don't even notice me go when I leave. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la.
Sure to please, every season has a taste that pleases me. There There are some that eat at night with their fancy foreign stews, and they whet their appetite with bouillabaisse and ragouts. But the finest sauce you'll get is hard labour's honest sweat, and a pint of ale to follow, that's for me. There is cock a leaky, cow heel, chitterlings and tripe, mutton broth and dumplings and puddings black and white, pig's brawn, rabbit pie washed down with barley brie. Every season has its taste that pleases me.
Well, I've come abroad. I've crossed the border into Cornwall. And as I'm looking for food, you won't need a lot of imagination to know what I've come to look for in Cornwall. A pasty. And I found a pasty. I found a lady who could make them too.
That's the turn it. And I can't go no faster, my cup. I'm sorry. Now you would cuddle that in, see? And get a bit tatty. And you cut them about the size of a 5p. Or a shilling, as we used to call them. Now you'd have your meat, and mine is about a handful, but this is skirt beef, and or you can use chuck steak, but you never use mince. And there we are, see, you need a cushion, because there's nothing worse than having a bite of your pasty and then no beef in the corner. Oh, there's something about a pasty, there's something about a pasty, there's something about a pasty that is fine, fine, fine. It may be the way you make it, it may be the way you bake it, it may be the way you peg it on the line, line, line. You can keep your fancy dishes, my one and only wish is to see those pasties marching out in line, line, line. When you taste that handsome crust, you could eat until you bust. There's something about a pasty that is fine, fine, fine.
Lovely, lovely. Now then, about, a child you were telling me about.
Oh, yes. Well, I was working in Cornish schools last week. And there was a little girl, she was 10 years old. She brought me this lovely pasty. She said, there's no devil in it, Mrs. Wootton. You've heard the story about the devil, have you?
No.
Oh, well, he lives in Devon, you see. And one day he fancied he'd like living in Cornwall. So he crossed over the Tamar and he got by this little cottage with the windows wide open. Looked in through, and there was a Cornish woman making a pasty with a big knife in her hand. He started to laugh. What you got there, he said. And she said, I got a Cornish pasty, my son, and if you hang about here, I shall chop you up and I shall put you in him. And the devil screeched, and he raced all the way back to Devon, and he's never been seen in Cornwall since, and that's a true story.
I'll bet you. How does it come about that the pasty is so specifically associated with Cornwall?
Couldn't really tell you, my love, but it has been around a long time. Cornwall, of course, was very remote until the Industrial Revolution, and I think that the original pasty just had what was around with whatever season was, whatever vegetables. I mean, if you live by the sea, you'd probably put herring or pilchard in a pasty, and in the sort of autumn time, you could make apple pasties. Traditionally today, I suppose the pasty is the one that I've just made for you. And it's a very, very strict way of making them. But every family's got their different way of making them, My own way is what my mother taught me, that she learned from her mother. And it's supposed to be a miner's dish. And, of course, we've been mining for 4,000 years here in Cornwall.
Aye,
It could be that the pasty had been around that long.
The Romans came here for silver and copper.
And for pasties, I've no doubt. Yes.
Right, this is it then, the big moment, huh?
Right,
Moment of discovery, right?
Here, no, knife and fork.
No.
No, eat your pasty in your hand.
Oh, the real trick,
That's
the
right,
miner's
top
way.
to bottom.
Right.
By the time you finish that, your belly will be that taut you could crack a flay upon it.
This is a song, What I Learned at My Mother's Knee, I believe the folk is to say. A pretty funny joint. And I can remember, well, I did learn this from my mammy, that is true. And she was in the school at Newlyn, and they all used to go in. Their headmaster, Mr. Ravlin, was a great one on singing, so they never had quite so much arithmetic and English and geography and history as they should have done, because he was always putting them in singing competitions. And they won the banner in Cornwall with this song. I don't know what year it was, must have been about 1911 or something like that. And there's a song written by Herbert Thomas.
the editor of the Cornishman that used to be in Penzance. I mean, Cornishman's still there, but Herbert's gone. And it became what they call the Exiles hymn, and it's called Pasties and Cream. I sing of a county of pasties and cream, of pilchard and herring that sparkle and gleam, in the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream, the land of the miners and fishermen bold, the land of the smugglers in stories of old, where men go a-courting and the maids are not cold, in the dear old county of Cornwall. Cornwall, Cornwall, the dear old county of Cornwall. Pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchard and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall. Oh, know you the county of pasties and cream, with hay in the meadow and tin in the stream, in the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream. The boats trail their nets through the star-spangled sea, the miners go down where the nuggies may be, and black eyes are laughing on you and on me, in the dear old county of Cornwall. Cornwall, Cornwall, the dear old county of Cornwall. Pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchard and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall. As we watch the grey shore sink down in the sea, no traitors to home or our sweethearts are we, or the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream. Wherever we travel, our homes will be dear, for loved ones we'll toil, and for Cornwall we'll cheer, and we'll send home a smile, though we keep back a tear, for the dear old county of Cornwall. Cornwall, Cornwall, the dear old county of Cornwall. Pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchard and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall.
And this is another one, and this is again a true occasion. It's about my grandfather on my father's side, William Henry Ellery. And he lived and breathed and died horses. He had, well, I know Granny had 8 children, and then she lost one in between all of that lot. You know, she was, well, they said every time the youngest child was on the bed, she was pregnant. And he died when I was only 4 years old, actually. All I remember is a great big fat man up in the bed, and he was bald, you know. Now, that's my memories of him, and then what I was told about him. And then I grew up, I was a teenager sort of during the war, so just after the war, you can imagine that I was one of these girls that worshipped the cinema and the film stars, and I really thought I was somebody. This happened at St. Just. My granddad Ellery in Penzance, he died when I was 4, He'd been a groom most of his life and loved his horses sore. He'd brush their coats and clean their gear and talk to them like mad. And they'd do anything for he. They loved the boss they had. And at the ending of the day, he'd speak with smiles serene. They'd do their business on a spade to keep the stable clean, and that's true. We used to, I don't know what he used to say to them, but he'd hold the shovel out, and he'd say this word. No, it's like switching on a washing machine. He ran the stable at the Queen's, sat proud on horse and carriage. The motor car put them aside when it became a garage. Now he was very popular within the hunting clan, and buying, selling horses, well, there weren't a better man. Everybody knew him. Why, even up and down, Land's End and Bury and down St. Ives, and over Newlyn Green. And William Henry lived for them, heard not his children's screeches. He felt at home upon a horse, clad in they leather breeches. So, as all the Cornish do, they got him a nickname. Leatherass Ellery he was called, and he enjoyed the game. Now this was long before I was born, and there'd been stories plenty. A character, that's what he was, and going bold at 20. My memories, of course, of him are really not too clear. They tell me he was very stern. To me, he was a dear, a big fat man in bed with gout, all to his bed with trips. I was his pet, his shyness, and he'd give me all his grapes. Now comes the time when growing up, and I was 17, and in the telephone exchange, something to be seen. They sent me up St. Just to work to teach the lady there. Used to go up on the bus and get off in the square. Now all the girls about my age would follow movie stars and try and dress and be like them. It was all a proper farce. Veronica Lake, now she was the one, her hair all hanging down across one eye. 'Twas hard to see on how to get around. And me, my hair now just like that, I looked a real go-getter. Did high heel shoes with fancy straps and a naughty tight white sweater. There's me parading through St. Just, a proper Newlyn charmer, when stepping right in front of me this big red-faced farmer. I don't know who you are, my cop, but when I seen he passed, you must be some relation called to dear old Leatherass. Well, I was shocked, for in my mind was that fat, bald man in bed. And then I thought of that farmer's face and of the things he'd said. He meant it as a compliment. He loved my granddad dear, the man who could charm horses and had never tasted beer. And so I walked with head held high. There was no cause to weep. It only goes to show the truth that beauty's just skin deep. Now I approach the years that I remember Dada's smile. From photos, yes, I am like him. I'm Leatherass's child.
Thank you, Brenda, very much indeed.
You know you're welcome here. Come on in. It's been a long, long year. Now I know what they waited around. Wouldn't run around town and let them put me down. I knew if I waited I'd win. So come on in. Over and over I told myself, I said, girl, you better lose them blues. Get ready for the day when you walked in the door. So I dusted off your pipe and polished off your shoes. Come on in. You sure look good to me. Come on in. Know how lonesome I can be. I don't know if we'll ever know just what went wrong. A whole darn year has passed us by and gone, but we're back together now where we belong. So come on. Johnny Groat says my eyes are blue, he says my hair is brown, he says I am the prettiest girl 'twas ever in Taunton town.
Sweetheart, your hair is straight as string, your eyes black and brown, and you are the plainest looking girl 'twas ever in Taunton town.
Johnny Groat says I'm smart and slim, my hands as white as snow, and nobody walks as well as I as through the fields I go.
Dearest, your shift is all in rags, your hands are red as kale, and it's well known at 16 stone you turn the miller's scale.
Johnny Groat says my voice is sweet as water or as wine, and when my granny goes up to heaven, her pig and cot I'll mind.
When you're singing in the woods, the birds fall to the floor, and your granny of 50 years is good for 50 summers more.
Then shall I not marry Johnny Groat, who thinks so well of me? And shall he not bring me a fine gold ring when he comes back from sea?
Daughter, take the fine gold ring and the love that's in his eye, for the love that comes from an honest poor man is more than money can buy. La 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 la.
What's in a name, lest that name is your name on my lips once again, as the sea to the shore. What's in a kiss, lest that kiss is your kiss, leaving sweetness on my lips. I would taste her more. What's in my life, lest I have you beside me, with your strength here to guide me, lest I stumble or fall. I have nothing at all. Very early on a Sunday morning,
on a cold winter's day, and you're lying warm and snug in your bed with your loved one sleeping beside you, and you wonder, should you wake them or let them to sleep in their dream world afar? This song is in the Cornish language, De Solvitin. De Solvitin tiam gwani galo de thionam again Gwaitha says a stout hina Tom Hacklows rebo than union Pelis in a Isabel Peldres quellis a vivin Tian guedia solo Mia vir pareo Iuria et your passion sola breeze up the fin Afghans or hissing trees are left trees and beyond at the fin of och nee nee and was when we are here Tian guedia solo mi. I'm going to Tishomingo because I'm sad today. I wish to linger way down old Dixie Oh, my weary heart cries out in vain. Oh, how I wish that I were back again with the race in a place where they make you welcome all the time. Way down in Mississippi, among the cypress trees, they get you dippy, with their strange melody. To resist temptation, I just can't refuse. Into Shamingo, I wish to linger where they make those weary blue.
I don't care how I go. I only want to know that I'm heading for the river, heading for the river, heading for the river Tame. There's a bridge across the river from Plymouth to Saltash, and I wish that I were crossing now. If I only had a job and a kettle on the hob, well, I wouldn't need to wonder howdy, howdy, how. Well, I wouldn't need to wonder how. Take me, drive me, carry me, fly me. I don't care how I go. I only want to know that I'm heading for the river, heading for the river, heading for the river Tame. There's a bridge across the river at Dunnis Lake, I know, and I wish that I were crossing now. And if I could get away, I'd be over it today, and I wouldn't need to wonder howdy, howdy, how, and I wouldn't need to wonder how. Take me, drive me, carry me, fly me. I don't care how I go. I only want to know that I'm heading for the river, heading for the river, heading for the river Tame. And there's two across the river that I should like to see, and I wish that I were crossing now. Folsom Bridge of great renown, and don't have it further down, and I wouldn't need to wonder howdy, howdy, how, and I wouldn't need to wonder how. Take me, drive me, carry me, fly me. I don't care how I go. I only want to know that I'm heading for the river, heading for the river, heading for the river Tame. And there's still a bridge and Crossgate and one by Ragged Hill, Bridge a roll and Tame, Stone and Mill, and the Dexter to near Hudson, First and Broxwater, and wow, how I wish that I were crossing nowdy, nowdy, now. Well, I wish that I were crossing now. Take me, drive me, carry me, fly me. I don't care how I go. I only want to know that I'm heading for the river, heading for the river, heading for the river Tame. Take me, drive me, carry me, fly me. I don't
There we go, well.
No, don't
Snacking on time.
all the live long day. We've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Can't you hear the whistle blowing right and early in the morn? Can't you hear the whistle blowing? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Play on the old banjo. Fee-fi, filly-I-o. Fee-fi, filly-I-o. Fee-fi, filly-I-o. Play on the old banjo. In the evening, by the moonlight, you can hear those darkies singing. In the evening, by the fireside, you can hear those banjos ringing. And the old folks, they enjoy it as they sit all night and listen to the music of the banjos ringing in the moonlight. Moonlight, moonlight, jolly fine moonlight, I saw the moonlight for last night. Moonlight, moonlight, jolly fine moonlight, I saw the moonlight for last night. Oh, what a moonlight, 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 oh, what a moonlight, moonlight night. Oh, what a moonlight, 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 oh, what a moonlight, moonlight night. By the sea, where the watermelons grow, by Dundee, where my mother said I shouldn't go. Oh, but if I did, my mother would say, have you ever seen a cow with a green eyebrow down by the sea?
There's certainly some stuff there that wouldn't be allowed today in that last one. But I think it's just nice to illustrate the sort of freedom that was going on with that singing. Everybody was just joining in, having a great time, singing what they wanted to sing. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions? I forgot to wear Brenda's brooch. I always wear Brenda's brooch. I don't know if you spotted it. Yes. Big triskel like that. And I was trying to remember what I needed to bring today, and I forgot to bring it. Oh, but one good thing, I met Nick Phillips. Where's Nick? Turns out that his mum was a great friend of my mum. And he remembered something about his mum going up to an agricultural a farm for the war effort just after the Second World War. They were both working in the post office in Penzance, and they were good friends. Brenda had joined the post office choir, but they were given a chance by the post office to go up to, I think it was Hersham in Buckinghamshire, to a farm where there was a group of volunteers working to harvest vegetables for the war effort. And his mum was Brenda's partner on that journey. And when I was writing the biography, I'm not quite sure how, but I ended up getting a letter from Nick's mum, who described this to me, because I didn't know. I didn't have any information about it. And she wrote and told me about this trip. And they'd gone up on the train and how it was really hard work working in the fields, and Brenda would come back and take advantage of the cold showers, and there'd be awful screams. And Brenda would eat anything. I think Marjorie was a bit fussier. And so the cook there made Brenda tinned sardines and salad, which Brenda woofed down, but Marjorie wasn't keen. And then afterwards, coming back on the train, they travelled down with Brenda's auntie, who was coming down on holiday, and she'd saved them one seat in the carriage. So Brenda gave Marjorie the seat, who sat down and promptly fell asleep. And when she looked out into the, I don't know what you call, alleyway beside the corridor, Brenda was there fast asleep, laid out, stretched out over all the suitcases and grimly hanging onto her handbag. So, it was a lovely story, and I wrote about it in the book. I had to go and find the incident because Nick didn't know about that either. So I've got a photograph of them at home, so I'm going to send it to him. Thank you all for coming. I hope you've enjoyed it.